Holiday traffic got you down? Crowded stores? Holiday traffic got you down? Crowded stores? Preparing for house guests? All the baking, all the cooking? Are you stressed out? Overwhelmed? These are all things you should be able to enjoy. Treat yourself. Don't beat yourself. Give yourself the gift of staying calm so you can enjoy the holidays. Take time out for a session for Christmas Calm Down Special. Book now at awakeninghearts333.com.
I love that, dude.
Hi, Jara.
Especially the thing about beating yourself.
I know. Makes me laugh every time.
So how was your holiday?
It was really good. I went to Texas and hung out with my sister for the weekend.
Cool.
I'm thankful. I'm grateful that I could do that. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Traveling's always cool.
I don't know. I don't know. Is it? No.
It is to me now because I look forward to looking at stuff with a new eye, I guess.
Yeah,
and going somewhere.
I'm thankful and grateful that I can travel. That we could. So I won't say bad things about it. I love to. I'm so glad that we got to take my dad to see my sister, and my dad got to take us basically too.
Right.
So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to have my dad because he's getting older, and I'm just grateful because I don't have my mom, so I'm really grateful.
Right. Yes, I know. Parents are super important. And as you know, both of mine are sick over the holidays. So our holiday was
sick, right?
Yes, they were both sick. And they were both in the hospital in different cities at slightly different times, like a day apart. So and now they both have COVID still. So yay. It's been fun, y'all. I have not gotten sick, so that's good. I think I have an immunity. You're
immune.
Yay. Because, so far so good. I've tested many times and still negative. So, yeah. So it was a quiet, I guess, quiet time, lots of reflection on how well our system works in this country. But we'll talk about that in a different day.
Oh, no, that's a whole nother show, right?
Oh,
okay. So I want to take care of business. Can I take care of a little business first before we start getting all crazy? I want to say that I've got some specials going on for the new year. And so check out my website. There's a big discount for all hypnotherapy and coaching sessions. And I also want to say that you can catch me on TikTok pretty much a couple times a week. I can't even really say doing readings. So if you catch me on TikTok, you could get a reading. And that's at a discounted price and sometimes free. What else, Jara? I think that's it. I've got some specials going on. You can catch me on TikTok for readings. If you do book a reading through the website, it is special because you get a video copy of your reading. So that's pretty amazing and awesome.
Oh, yeah. I would highly recommend doing that. Everybody, if you're going to do that, I would highly recommend doing that.
It just helps you find the answers that you already have that you don't know you have. So that's awesome.
Right. And there's always just a lot of information. I promise, like, if you get a reading, you'll want to remember it. So super do that. Because she's like really good and you'll want to remember stuff.
For sure, guys. For sure. I think that's all the business end. Oh, yes.
So I started watching
I got a little bit
that I kind of binge watched on Christmas.
Wait.
And I haven't done that for a minute.
Business. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
If you're new here, please like and subscribe to the show so that you can get notifications when we have to put something out there. And please share it to all your friends. Okay, that's it.
it.
What show is that you're binge watching?
It's an older show, and they canceled it. And I watched it before, but I liked it again. So it's called The OA.
Oh,
And
yeah, I remember that show.
It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I wish they would bring it back though, because it's got an interesting premise. It's like, about interdimensional travel.
Isn't there more seasons?
No, there's only 2, and then they canceled it.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, of course they did.
But there's this one part in the movie where she, like, this tree takes her like underground, and the roots are holding her, and it's like it's telling her the tree's talking to her, and it's basically. So what happens is she jumps into a different dimension, into this, like, the version of her that's in this other, like, slightly different reality or whatever, and in that reality she's a medium. And so, like, the tree roots are telling her that that Nina, which is the other version of herself, that she's a medium, and that's how she's able to, like, communicate with the animals and the earth and the trees. The tree was telling her that the roots have been calling to her, like, since she was a little girl. And
Ooh.
like, and the way that it was like it was like flashing, like it looked like a neural network, like it was like, I don't know, it looked so cool. I was like, I bet that's how it really looks under the ground. like a neural network. But yeah, it was just neat. Because I believe that trees are like a giant brain. I think that trees communicate, and I think that they, like, I don't know. I think trees are like guardians. And I think they do. Like, I think trees can do that. They can, like, the tree was telling her that the way that they take care of each other, the way to do things. She said, when one of our own falls sick in the forest, we all of the trees send it food, because if one tree falls, the canopy breaks. And that's how people should be with each other too.
That's how people should be.
Yeah. And so
We
I
should
don't
be
know.
there
It
for
was
each
just
other.
a really good message.
It is a good message. We should all lift each other up instead of drag each other down. And that's got to change. It's going to.
Yeah. You're just jumping.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Sorry about the people running around in the back of me, everybody.
I saw Scott. Ha ha.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a good message, and I like how, like, in the cast, it's like a bunch of kids and people that you wouldn't otherwise, like, see together or whatever. So it kind of just shows how, like, everybody brings something different to the table, and I don't know. It's just a really good message, I think, in the show. And the OA is, she's an angel. Well, they're angels, so. So that there's that one part that I was telling you about where she's like, we're not forgotten or mistreated or blah, 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 blah. And she says all these things that I feel a lot of times like I am. She was like, we're angels. And I was like, hey, maybe I'm an angel. I'm either an angel, or
Jara.
I'm an alien, but I don't believe in aliens like that. Like, not in that way.
You are an alien.
I just know I don't belong in this place, or we're in the wrong, like, realm. This place is backwards.
Hey, I've got to do something embarrassing. So I've got to go under the desk and plug the computer in.
Oh, okay. How is that embarrassing?
I don't know, because I have to go down here.
I thought you were going to, like, I don't know, pass gas or something.
Okay.
I'm
back up.
And you're all good. Is that a plate over there on your desk?
Actually, it's funny that you should ask, because it's my new project. I'm going to I'm putting flowers on it, and I'm going to pour resin on it.
Oh.
And it's going to be like a tray.
That's neat. Cool. Very cool.
Okay,
Very
I'm
nice.
plugged in now. It's safe. We're safe.
Yay. And yes, everybody, this is brought to you by Marshmallows,
And Coco.
my handy dandy pal, and Coco. Oh, you got Coco?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I've got some chicken fettuccine Alfredo as well.
Oh, nice. That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah. Yep. So I know where I want to go this summer. Do you want to go with
Okay.
me before I tell
Sure.
you where it is?
Yeah.
To Havasupai Falls
Oh, yeah. That's a
area.
cool place.
I want to live there. I want to live in the Havasupai. People are the only people that live in the Grand Canyon full time still. And I looked at their village on Google Earth, and it's so like magical. I don't know. There's something special about that part of the Grand Canyon. I think it's so pretty, like the contrasting color, the turquoise of the water and like the red rock. It looks so cool. It looks so pretty, and it's really green right there too.
It is really pretty there. Do you have to hike down to get there?
You can helicopter, but it's extra. It's like $200 extra, and you have to make reservations like way in advance. But even if we can't go to like, I don't know which part of it is designated as like the camping, but it's open camping like in that area. Like when you do go down there, it's so cool looking, dude. And they have like, have you seen the rock? How it looks like it's like the rock looks like monsters, and it's all like, bleh. I guess it's from the waterfalls or something. Yeah, it looks really cool.
So I wanted to do like a year-end reflection.
Okay.
So I was going to ask questions, and anybody can ask themselves these questions or, whatever. And so let me see. Let me pick a good one. Okay. How about what positive changes have occurred in the past year that you are most grateful for?
That's a very hard to answer question because that's like
It's a doozy.
that's a doozy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on that.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of changes. I guess, okay. Well, actually, I guess I can answer that. I'm most grateful for the change in that I recognize how special we are and this place is. Even though it's so scary and dark. Huh?
This place meaning what?
This place, like this world, this realm, the people that are in it, we matter. Things are important. Stuff wasn't just a coincidence. I think that everything matters. And nothing is as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I know to trust myself. And that's the biggest change that I'm the most grateful for, is that I learned that I have a very good friend in myself.
Oh, yes. I love that. That is an awesome answer.
Yeah.
You have your own back.
I told my husband earlier, I was like, I just realized today that if I needed help with something, I would call me. I was like,
call on yourself. I would call myself.
Call myself. That's a scary feeling though, also. So
It is. It is. But when you have your own back, and when you use the resources and tools that you've picked up along the way to take care of yourself when you need someone, it's an amazing thing that happens. And the amazing thing that happens is self-love and confidence, actually.
Yeah. It is an empowering feeling, because when you realize that you're there for yourself, then you realize well, I'll always be there for myself. So I'll always be okay.
Exactly. It's a secure feeling. And most of the time people learn to be there for themselves because somebody has not been there for them. Somebody that they thought they needed there for them was not there for them. And that's when people have
Realize.
to resort to being there for themselves, but it's actually a very beautiful thing.
Right. It is. That's why I'm grateful for it.
Because everything we need is within us and around us.
Right. Right. It is like super, like literally and figuratively and everything else.
It's the most true statement.
Yeah. It is kind of weird how we like panic, right? If there's not food, if there's not like prepared food, we panic. But everything we've ever needed has always been here. So.
It's a choice, you know. You can think that we need something, and you can think that you have to go without or that you're going to suffer, but that's a choice because everything you need is within you and around you.
Right. Right. And if it's not, then you can just adjust what you need. Right.
That is exactly. If you feel like it's not within you or around you, then maybe an adjustment needs to be made within you or around you, you know?
Right. But either way, you are ultimately, you know, you are the captain of your own ship.
Yes, ultimately, it's you. Everything is you. And the decisions you make, the choices you make, the way your mindset, the way you see things is going to determine how you get through something. It's all up to you.
And you know, when you're there, when you're like there for yourself and you make it through something and you're like, okay, and you realize you didn't die, like it makes you realize that you're a lot stronger than you thought you were. And you know now like how strong you are, right? So, and nobody really knows that but you.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel sometimes like people have no idea how strong I am.
Yeah. Nobody knows.
Huh?
Well, okay, let's take.
Wait, what was that?
People will notice. Let's take that back. How true is that? What percent of true is that statement that nobody will know how strong you are? How do we know what people are noticing and what they're not?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people know how strong I am or not. I was just kidding because it feels like I should be really strong.
It feels like more people should see it or know, right? But we don't know. Maybe they are noticing. Maybe it is noticeable, the changes you've made and the strength that you've shown.
Well, and it doesn't really matter if it's noticeable. It's just, I know that I know because like I know what I can withstand and like what I've been through, you know, like nobody knows anybody's inner world. So like, I guess in a way, I feel this is the most comfortable or confident I've ever been in myself and my inner world, in being that like I always am thinking, you know, like me and God know like how my day went today. And I'm like, we're pretty proud of me. And that makes me feel better. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm confident in that. Like,
that's good.
Lately. Yeah. So
I think sometimes when I believe that, when I feel that way, and I know that me and God know, I get to the point where it doesn't matter who else knows.
Right. That's what I mean, that it doesn't really matter if anybody notices or not, because
that's like, because I mean, it does matter until you get right when you get to that point, then it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It matters so much and you want someone to know so bad. But then finally, all in the end, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Right. Yep. Well, that's called learning, I guess, huh?
It is. It is a great big learning. It's called growing, actually.
It's called what?
growing.
Oh, I thought you said burning. I was like, why is it called burning?
Burn, baby.
Burn, baby. So the color purple came out on Christmas, and I haven't seen it yet. That's like that's my favorite movie, so I need to go see it just to see. I don't think anything will beat the original, though.
Oh, it's a new movie?
Yeah, it's a remake.
Shut up. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, but it's got like Taraji P. Henson in it as Shug Avery. Yep.
I'm trying to think what
what is your thing? You didn't answer.
Yeah, I didn't answer.
Oh, my son got a haircut. You want to see his haircut? Hey, Noah, you should come.
He probably looks handsome.
Oh, he closed the door. His hair looks nice. He got a nice haircut.
He's got to do another show with us pretty soon.
Yeah, he does. So what is your thing that you're most?
I guess my thing is that I'm learning to be unbothered by what other people say, think, and do. And learning that I knew this before, like I knew this last year, but I really, really applied it and learned it this year, that everything is a reflection of ourselves. And so it really helped me because it helped me not to think like so many people are assholes, because it really has nothing to do with me. So that really freed up my mind a lot.
Right.
You know, because when you know and believe that everything is a reflection of yourself. So if something bothers you, it's just yourself. It's a reflection of what you're thinking.
Well,
and you know
there are so many people that are assholes. Oh, a little bit.
Right. But that's the way I used to feel. But now I realize that they're all just reflecting themselves. It has nothing to do with anything else but themselves. So once you
But there are a lot of people though that are like super just not aware, like they have no like awareness for like other people. I don't know. It's weird. It's like people forget we're in a world with other people or something.
No self-awareness, that's a problem.
A lot of people are not self-aware. I don't know how, like I have been seeing so many people driving lately and that are not looking at, they're like literally not even looking at the road, like a lot at all. And it's like scary because I see like daily so many that makes me think, well, if I see that many, God, how many are there like that I don't see? And they're just not like, they're just, people aren't aware. Like they don't like think about how what they're doing might affect somebody else. I don't know. It's just weird.
That's not good.
I know, but I see it everywhere. It's like really, really weird. Like this lady, for example, at the grocery store the other day, she had a little girl with her who was like not behaving politely, and she was like hitting her. I don't know if it was her grandma or whatever, but she was hitting the lady that she was with and stuff. And the lady was allowing her to do that, which I thought was weird, but okay. But it's not my business. So we're in line, and the line was like really long, right? So she gets up to where it's her turn to pay, and this little girl starts throwing a fit, and the grandma's like, do you want something? And the little girl's like, yeah. And then she's like, I want that. And then the grandma goes to get it. And then she's like, no, I want that. And like the grandma's like letting this little girl do that. And like there's a really long line. And everybody in line is like going, why? Like that's kind of rude because she's not even thinking about all the people that are in line. And she's allowing that little girl to like act like that and then boss her around like that and make everybody wait while she chooses a treat or whatever. And so So anyway, so this lady, so the guy, it's Aldi, right? And they want you to go quickly. Like that's part of their store thing. So
Yeah.
the cashier guy, he took like the next person's money and the lady flipped out on him. Like the lady with the kid flipped out on the cashier guy and started like, she was like chewing him out. And I had to be like, ma'am, like, you don't like, that's enough. Like, that's like not necessary. And then she's like, no, don't you stick up for him. And it's like,
Oh,
how
what?
is she the one who's all irritated or whatever? But that's how people are like that lately. It's so weird.
I know people don't realize what their actions and how their actions affect other people. So let's see, how can we apply that, what I just said about it being a reflection of ourselves? Okay. Because so it had nothing to do with you, and you know that.
Right.
But it did affect you. Darn it, Jara. Because that like kind of cancels out what I was saying. But it's true though. We can't ignore that. It's true.
And
People
see,
who aren't
so like
affect other people.
so I have a thing. I want to be like I don't know if this is a devil's advocate thing or whatever, but like, so things like when people say, you know, put out good energy and like that'll be what comes back to you, or like all those little things. I feel like those things don't work with us. I feel like those don't apply to like, because I'm like, yeah, like in that situation, that lady was an ass. She was being a jerk. She was being rude. That was totally inappropriate for her to allow like a 4-year-old to act like that and dictate to make like, you know, the store, everybody knows that that's the way that the store goes. You know what I mean? It was just super rude. And then you don't need to be rude and go like to the extent that she was going to like chew somebody out or whatever. So there's a lot of times there's a lot of people that are acting like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there are times where I might be feeling guilty because I'm a messy person. So like if my husband is just trying to straighten up, I might like get offended and think he's telling me that I'm messy, but he didn't tell me I'm messy. I just feel bad because I know I'm messy and he's cleaning up. You know what I mean? So there's stuff like that that is like the reflection thing. But then there's just also people that are jerks. There's a lot of jerks right now, I think. Yep. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Well, yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm the unsympathetic empath. Enzo.
Like, let me play this thing really quick. I know I've played it a whole bunch of times. Hey, Enzo, what's up, dude?
Oh, me too,
I know I've played
Enzo.
it a whole bunch of times.
I'm a hoarder for sure.
But I'm gonna play this again so that you guys so we can hash this out really quick. So listen to this. Okay, I'm gonna take you out for a second.
Okay.
Remove.
I tell people all the time, nothing exists outside of you. I'm going to explain this in 60 seconds. Here's why. Every human being that you interact with, you are viewing them through your perception, through your lens. You perceive them a certain way. They then reflect what you perceive and it comes back to you. So you're seeing your own perceptions. So they're not really there. You're looking at a part of you. When you realize this, now you don't have to take anything personal what someone says, because guess what? They're doing the same thing to you. Every cause has an effect, which you are responsible for all causes of because it's their thoughts. Nothing exists outside of you. Everything is you. When you realize this, spend your energy on you, on working on the inner part of you, because this is what will show on the outside.
Okay, so what do you think? Where'd she go? She's gone. Where? Okay. I don't know where Jara went, but I'm still here. And so that's what I was trying to say, that I've been working, that I learned that this year, and it's helped me a lot. But then Jara's kind of right, because it is true. Sometimes people are assholes, and it does affect you. What the hell? So how does that work out? Anyone? I was pretty confident about it. Some days I'm pretty confident about it, and I don't and I'm unbothered by the things other people say and do. But sometimes when people are just overwhelming assholes, it's hard to not be bothered by what they say, think, and do. So there's that. Let's see. Another thing. Let's see. Habits or routines that helped me get through this year. Here comes Jara.
That was
Hi.
me, not you. Sorry about that.
So what did you think about that?
Ooh, I think that I agree with that. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry. I agree with what that gentleman was saying.
But you're right, though. Sometimes people are just really big assholes, and you can't avoid being bothered by it.
Right. But it's also sometimes okay to just let them know in a nice way. Hey, maybe they don't realize they're an asshole. Maybe they were, I don't know, not realizing it.
So when people are not self-aware around you, do you tell them?
Yeah, and that's why nobody likes me. I do try to. Well, okay, so let me take that back. I don't anymore as much because I realize that it depends on who you are. So most likely I wouldn't say anything now. Before I probably would have. But now, like, unless I feel like you're a person who's receptive to like just talking, because I don't really have the right to tell anybody how to act or whatever, you know. So what jerk to somebody could be super nice to somebody else. So that's all kind of subjective. And I do yeah, no, I do believe that too. Enzo, I also believe that if you put out good energy or you just do good things in general for people and you do it with the right intention and not because you expect to get something out of it or because you want people to know that you're doing things for people, but if you really do stuff for the right reason, I believe that energy, for sure, that good energy comes back. It just might not hit you. You know, it might hit somebody around you who needs it more than you do. But I think that somebody gets that good energy for sure. That's why I call it,
but I think maybe it hits you, and sometimes maybe we don't realize it's hitting us.
Right.
Maybe
and that is also true.
Where the good energy is hitting us.
Right. And that's a big one that you say that, because I think a lot of times with a lot of things, we do get things that, like, we do get good energy. We do get, you know, things from people, or people say nice things to us. We do get stuff like that. We just kind of like don't always pay attention to it or know that we're getting it because we're like doing something else or whatever.
We could be lost in the we could not be living in the present. We could be like lost in the past and the future and worrying about that shit, so that whenever you do that, you can't enjoy the present. So sometimes we can't see things that are right in front of us. I know I do that all the time, and you're awesome for, like, whenever I lose my shit, whenever things are going awry and I start to freak out, you point out to me where I'm not seeing something right in front of me, and that's a good friend. That's an amazing friend to do that for you.
Well, because I know I know that I like to remind people, you know, when you feel like you're drowning, just remember the first thing you should do is to first put your feet down, because just make sure that you're in water that's that deep, you know, because sometimes when you panic, you're panicking and you're not realizing that you can just stand up or whatever. Right.
Not as bad as it feels. You just try to stand up. It might be not as bad.
Right. So just put your feet down. So that's what I tell myself, like when, especially like when scary things happen that you don't have any control over. I tell myself I keep telling myself, put your feet down. Like, put your feet down. So if I ever call you and I'm like, I can't touch, then you know that I'm in trouble or something.
Okay, that's a great thing. So whenever you're panicking, you guys, tell yourself, put your feet down. That means like check yourself. Is it as bad as you might be able? You might just be drowning in the water you could be standing up in. So just check yourself. It might not be.
And that can happen too. I mean, you can literally drown in water that you're standing up in if you're panicking and you think you're drowning, and like it's possible for that to happen.
Yep, but it's all dangerous because if you're not self-aware of that, you could bring somebody else down and drown them too.
Yep. Or there's that story of that guy that was in that train car that died because he thought he was in there. He thought he was locked in there and that he wasn't getting oxygen and stuff. And he wrote a letter about how cold he was getting and he died. And the car was broken. So there was oxygen getting in there. Ooh,
wow.
Coughing tickle. I'm going to have to put y'all on pause for a moment.
Okay, cough it out.
Sorry.
Cough it up. She's coughing her brains out. Enzo, if you'd like to come on and join us. But the next question was habits that helped us get through the year. Okay, so let's see. That's a good question. These are kind of deep questions. I might not do these questions. Habits that got me through the year.
I think I'm okay.
Okay. What is a habit or a routine that helped you get through this year?
Woodworking.
Okay. So hobbies. Keeping your hands busy.
Keeping your what busy?
Hands.
Oh, I thought you said hummus. I was like, what?
I kind of just floated through this year. What did I do that kept me okay? Had a lot of ups and downs, so let's see. I think helping other people.
That's because the world is on a roller coaster, dude. It's not possible.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Enzo to the show. He is a great guest, our favorite guest, as a matter of fact.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. How was your holiday, sir?
Uneventful, which is just the way I like it.
Perfect. I like it.
How was yours?
Oh, so good. I went to Texas for the weekend and it was great. I'm thankful to spend it with my dad and my sister and my whole family. So yeah, I cannot complain. We had a beautiful holiday.
Did you do as much cooking as I'm sure Nikki did?
No, she did all the cooking. I did all the eating.
That would be my job during the holidays as well, I think.
Yep. She loves it though. She absolutely loves that we go for the cooking. We go for her food. I think she really does love it. I'm ready for the new year because the new year is actually my holiday because I'm the party girl.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Jeez.
Yeah.
My internet, man. I don't know what's going on.
So I'm gonna have
all
a
the
party.
bandwidth.
Yeah, you're hogging up all the bandwidth, and it's someone else's maybe.
Well,
Sorry,
now I'm
I thought
on my
we were sharing.
hotspot again because we have like 2 internets in this house, so I don't know. I think, or 3 or something. I don't know. Well, we have a lot.
Somebody else is like playing games or watching a video or something like that, maybe in the house.
Probably my son's probably either playing games or watching something, and then my daughter, and then my niece and my
Probably
husband.
everybody doing something.
That'll eat it up.
I'm pretty sure my dog might be watching something too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Even the dog.
Yeah.
They have videos on YouTube specifically for pets that they play. Like
I
if
know
you're
we
away and
actually
you want
put that
something to do.
on. Yeah, we put those on where it's
Really?
it's just like dogs like in the yard or whatever. And yeah.
The cat ones are always, I feel kind of evil because they're always like birds or little animals, stuff that they would chase. They're like, I want that. Yeah,
know,
looking at the
right?
street.
They're like, murder. I'm going to murder that.
I wonder why like dogs don't watch more TV. Like, I wonder how they see it, or you know what I mean? Like how they're like, can they see it the way that we see TV?
I don't know if they
can.
can.
I catch my cat doing it sometimes.
I've noticed cats will do it. I had a friend who had cats and dogs. The dog never paid attention to the TV unless there was like a dog barking on there. Then he would like look around. But the cat, if they were watching like a TV show that had like lions or tigers or something like that, those cats would sit there and just watch like, wow.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because there is this little tiny bird that we thought maybe it fell out of the tree or something. And it was, I think it was pretending it was dead because it saw a cat like way down the street. Right. And it was so crazy because it wasn't moving at all. And then as soon as this cat like comes down the street, the little bird's head just went like, and it like tracked the cat. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Animals, how they sense like other animals and they're like not even close to each other is weird.
That's how you survive.
Yeah, right. I know. And then he hopped away. I was like, oh, he's fine. And Kiki, we thought he was hot. So we were trying to like spray him with water. And he's probably sitting there going, oh, shit, you guys are going to get me caught. We're all calling attention to it.
Giving my position away. Stop it.
Right. He's like, go away. Yeah, I could see myself accidentally getting an animal killed by trying to help it in the forest or the wild or whatever. I would do that.
Yeah, that's one of the sad things about like when you're out in nature. It's like you want to help them and stuff like that. It's like, I really can. Like you see a bird that fell out of the nest or something like that. It's like, no,
right.
That's how they learn. They have to learn how to fly to escape other predators that are on the ground. That's part of the learning process and stuff like that.
Right. So. Right now. So yeah, I see you're at the same resort that you're at usually.
That's it. The old beach bar
Virgin
down in St.
Islands.
John, Virgin Islands. We're partying up here the final days of 2023.
Have you ever tried to see if you've spotted any regulars that you see there on a regular basis?
The wait staff, like this girl here, she's on the wait staff. I see her all the time. She's always working.
Oh, that's cool. I bet she's got bucks, huh? That'd be a cool place cool job to have, huh? In a cool place. Dang.
I would think so, because I've been having this as my background for a long time, and it's not like I've seen anybody getting like rowdy or there's no bar brawls or anything like that. It's usually everyone's super chill walking around there.
Huh.
That's cool.
I want to go to the Virgin Islands. I told Kiki there's a historical black college in one of the Virgin Islands. I can't remember which one, but I was like, you should go to that one. And I'll live with you.
You can come and visit. Yeah.
So we can go visit.
That's perfect.
Right.
We'll keep an eye out for you back here in the background.
Right.
Although now that I think of it, like on a Friday or Saturday, sometimes because the bar stretches way back here, this little bar here. And I have seen a girl or two standing on top of the bar dancing. So.
Oh, have you?
Because they have
That would be me.
back here where you see these lights. They have a live band usually.
Yeah.
And, actually, I can switch to that view. Let's see. Oh no, they had to turn it off. But
have you guys ever been a regular at a bar?
I've been friends with the regular at a bar and went with them a couple, does that count?
In my younger days,
I've been regular at a bar.
Kind of was. Yeah. You know everybody that came in? Yeah. Where everybody knew your name? Was that kind of bar?
Yep. I'd walk in and they'd go, Suze.
My Uncle Jerry was a regular at a bar. Like a regular, like super, like that was their second house. Yeah. That Crazy Bill's, Susie. Remember Crazy Bill's?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my Uncle Jerry was a regular. Cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
cool to be a regular at a bar.
Yeah. It's cool to be regular at anything.
Exactly. I was about to say that exactly
Right.
that. If there was like within walking distance neighborhood type bar kind of a thing, I would probably hang out there
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah, right? Or
Yeah.
if it wasn't like, I don't know, because stuff is kind of different now. I guess it doesn't feel as small town type of thing or whatever. But it's neat to have a regular place. Like I like that, and I'm like that. Like with food, whenever I used to work in Tempe, I always went to the same places for lunch, and I always ordered the same stuff, so everybody like knew what my order was all the time. So I was the grilled cheese
The
lady.
usual coming right up. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, I like that. I think that's neat.
Yeah, that's
So
there
that
is
was
something
nice.
because it does be kind of that's your hangout. These people are now like your friends or your second
Right.
family, your family away from your real family.
I'm a
So-
sentimental person, so to me, that's always cool to have connection like that with people.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of do it because, like in my younger days, when I first joined the Air Force and all that, where I was stationed at was way upstate New York, like almost to the Canadian border.
Oh,
And the
wow.
drinking age was 21. Of course, I'm 18 when I went in, and you can't drink in New York, but if you skipped across the border into Canada, which was like Montreal was right there. It was only 18. So, or
Oh.
over to Vermont, which was across. You had to take a ferry to get across over to across Lake Champlain. Never saw Champ, by the way. But
Oh,
anyway, you go over there. If you were 18, there were places nearby that you could go.
In Vermont, you can drink when you're 18?
Yeah, back then, this was like 86. You know,
Oh,
it was
okay.
back then. I'm old, but and basically, because normally on a military base they have like a officers club and then a NCOs club. But before you become an NCO, you usually don't have a club. You could go to the NCO club, I guess. But they
What's
made
an
an
NCO?
airman's a non-commissioned officer. That's an enlisted guy versus an officer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like I was an NCO,
Okay.
and they made an airman's club, which is like those lower, bottom ranks, those first ones when you first come in, because we had a ton of dorms. We had a lot of people at the base we were at, and they made a bar specifically for 18 to 21, military members.
Oh,
that you go and
wow.
drink right there on base because they didn't want you traveling long
Right,
distances,
right.
getting drunk and trying to come
That's
back.
smart.
I thought it was a fantastic idea because it's one of those
Yeah.
kind of, classical remote type bases out in the middle of nowhere kind of things. So, that's where I was a regular at when I first came in. It's like, haha, I'm 18. I can legally drink here. Bumping back the
Right. That's
brewskis,
cool.
after like 3 beers and you're all blasted because you don't have any tolerance and falling down.
Right.
Getting stupid, but they made so much money at that place because most bases
Oh, I
don't
bet.
have that.
Right.
But they made so much money, it cut the other 2 clubs on base kind of in the green, in the red, or not in the black, I would say, because they've never
Wow.
made that much money to kind of like self-support themselves. But the Airmen's Club always had money. They had bands that would come in, that have specialty drink nights, and all the stuff like your regular bar kind of place would have. It was super popular. It was a lot of fun.
It'd be kind of hard. Like I never thought about being in the military if they like for clubs and stuff like that where they separate officers with lower whatever. So it's kind of like you're at work all the time. You like live at work then basically if you're in the military, because then you're not ever
Right.
allowed to like fraternize with an officer then, right? That would be a no-no. So you can't ever
Yep,
be
that
friends
was-
with anybody who's your superior.
Well,
Really?
it depends on which branch of the military you're in. Like the Navy is super strict about that. Very, very defined lines, even within like enlisted ranks. It's like, no, you've got to be within, this small range. They're very, very serious about it. The Air Force, not so much, because you had
okay.
enlisted guys like me that, fixed the plane. And then you had
Right.
officers that flew the plane. And it wasn't
Right.
like, hey, Bob, how are you? It was never anything like that. but it wasn't this, as soon as they come out, you have to pop the attention and all that stuff. It was a lot more relaxed kind of environment versus,
What
some
is
of the
what is the like why do they do that? Do you know what the idea behind it being so strict? Because I would feel like it would lose some camaraderie or something.
Well, there is a fraternization part. Basically, it's you've got your officers. They're like your managers. They're your people in charge.
Right.
You have your enlisted folks. Those are the hands-on doing the actual work folks. Those kind of things. And believe me, there's certainly levels in there and things like that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's not exactly that. But the big thing is you don't want one fraternization between the two, because there could be a position where an enlisted person, a lower ranking person, their officer boss may ask favors of you if you get to be close, and then influence your schedule, and that's not fair to the other people that you're dealing with. Things like that. Some kind of favoritism if you're pals, or actually trying to form a relationship or anything like that. It's like, how come I have to go TDY all the time, but that person never goes? It's like, because they're dating that. It's that kind of thing. Right. So there is that. And then of course,
basically all rules are just made because we all kind of never stop being kids, kind of, and we have to have rules because some people ruin it for other people.
Now, to be fair, I have had situations during my career where I had a female supervisor, and she was certainly coming on to me, kind of a thing. When it's a female supervisor and a male subordinate, it's still frowned upon. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's not like I'm going to be the one that gets pregnant and have to go do something that I don't want to do. And it's a little different, but it's still not acceptable. But I've certainly had it happen. I've had there was this one lieutenant. I worked on this weird weekend shift in this small little control facility that had no windows. It's just a bunch of computers and all that's talking on the radio all the time. It wasn't a fun place to hang out. She would come on whenever I was working. She would hang out there around that office just to sit next to me and chat me up, kind of thing, while on her days off, kind of stuff. It's
you're like, aren't you supposed to be off today?
Yeah.
Huh.
And there's been situations like that, and then other things, and then of course when you deploy out to some other part of the world, some people think those rules go out the window. They really don't. Because when you're there's such a weird thing where there's some people, they think as soon as they leave, they're like the wedding ring comes off and all of that stuff. It's kind of gross, really, but.
That sucks.
Yeah. I bet that happened. I've never been on a military base before. Susie has.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people go to I know, Lacey used to go to the military base, but I've never been on one. And it's just like a little city, right? There's everything.
It really is. There's depending on, of course, where it is, but in most cases, there's a gas station, there's a liquor store, there's a the commissary, which is like a grocery store. There's usually some kind of a PX or a BX, which is like a little shopping center kind of a thing, where you can buy the basics, your toothpaste and your soap and stuff like that. And, a few other things. They'll have, depending on the size of the BX, where you're at, they could sell everything from TVs and cars, but, there's always.
And I think here in Arizona, aren't we known for the intelligence? Don't we have one of the main intelligence bases here? Fort Huachuca? Is it Fort Huachuca? Somebody,
we have Fort Huachuca. We also have Luke Air Force Base, and
I think Huachuca is the one with the what?
Yeah, honestly, there's little intelligence spots kind of everywhere. I don't know if anyone is any more famous than anywhere else, but there's little intelligence sections all over the place, all over the country.
I wonder how many. Have you ever been in an underground military base? Like one of the ones in the mountain. Like what's that one at Mount something?
I
There's
actually have been in Cheyenne Mountain before.
oh really?
Whoa.
It was in Colorado Springs. It's not like I was there for like official business. I was kind of got like the nickel like VIP tour is basically what it was. I was taking a class at Peterson Air Force Base, which is actually in Colorado Springs, and one of the guys in my class he was a med tech. He worked inside Cheyenne Mountain. He's like, I don't know if anybody's interested, but if you guys would like a tour, like on a Saturday, we can just swing up there. It takes like a couple hours. I'm like, yes, of course I want to see that.
That's
But
awesome.
it's really wild going in there because it's basically just this tunnel, this cave that they dug into the side of the mountain and then dug like 90 degrees off this other huge section that's big enough to hold like 3 smaller 3-story buildings. And the buildings are like interconnected with little hallways. And so it's just like a big cave. The thing that I noticed immediately going in there was about every 12 inches on the walls, on the ceiling, everything but, the actual ground. You saw these really long, like threaded bolt sections sticking out with a big square plate about 4 inches square with a number written on it, embedded right into the rock.
Really?
Because
What is that?
What it is they've got a couple civilians. It's their job every day. They have this big torque wrench and they have to track it by the numbers that are written on the little plate, where they check the torque on those, big nuts and stuff that are on there every day. Basically, it keeps pressure on the inside walls of the whole inside of the cave. And that basically tricks the mountain thinking that there's still solid rock there. So it will collapse in. It's it's an amazing engineering feat.
Whoa, that's crazy. So you're telling me they have to tighten those things every day?
Every single day, because they'll do like 30 or 40 of them, but they're not all like next to each other. It's not like you can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like this one over here, that one over there, that one like on the other side of the complex. It's a specific way to do, because whenever you torque anything down, you're not supposed to do it also. You're supposed to like on a tire.
Right.
You're supposed to crisscross it, so that it all goes down evenly, like for a tire. Same thing with the mountain. You're basically tricking the mountain into thinking there's still solid rock there.
Right.
It's pretty wild.
That's crazy, man.
That is pretty wild. So the mountain could collapse.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, over time, it would have to be. I mean, it's like any kind of even a natural cave structure. Over time, eventually, it's going to collapse in on itself because it's an empty void with tons of rock on top of it. So, eventually that would happen. Now, like when they originally, I also discovered this because during the tour we got, they're like, hey, do you want to go like on top of the building? Nobody ever sees it. Like, okay, what am I going to see? And we go because like I said, they have like 3 different 3-story buildings in there. We went on top of one, and above it, you saw these super weird, like geometric shapes in the ceiling that were giant. They're like,
wait, you were on top of a 3-story building that was
inside
in
the
a mountain. Okay.
Oh, weird.
Because when they dug it out, like I said, they dug the straight tunnel that you see on TV and stuff, where you see them driving in and out of the tunnel. And then the whole thing goes way off to the side, and they have 3-story buildings inside of that area. And that's where all the offices are and stuff like that. But
how weird.
I guess when they were originally digging all of that out, one of their geologists was like, we're going to have to shut this whole thing down. There's this very minor fault line that ran through the ceiling of the place that they didn't know was there until they started digging it all out. And they're this is eventually all going to, there's no way this is going to last. And the engineers are like, let's try this. And they took these giant concrete blocks that are like 2 feet thick and big as a dump truck. And they made them these strange, I didn't quite understand the pattern, but I was only up there a couple of minutes in the dark. And they make them these geometric shapes so that because the mountain does settle and move around over time. That's part of that torquing thing that to go around, but it still there's still some settling that goes on over the inside of the cave, kind of an idea.
Mhm.
But they designed this roof
Wow.
on it made out of these concrete blocks, and they're like these weird shapes, so they all fit together like a jigsaw puzzle, so that
Really?
they're taking the pressure off of all of these different spots in the ceiling, so it doesn't, if it does move around, it's not all the pressure isn't in just one space. It's spread out over like these big blocks versus it's really wild, the engineering that went into that place.
Now those blocks, like what you're just describing, does that look like you know how like in parts of the Grand Canyon, how it looks like there's like blocks that were put together, fit up against each other
The
like
actual
that?
rock itself.
Does it look like that?
Not exactly like that. It's obvious because when they made them, I mean, it's on the inside, it's on the roof of the inside of a super secure mountain, so it's not pretty. They didn't do like a finished job or anything like that. It's not fancy. You can see the big angle iron from how they lifted it up and spun it around and put it into the ceiling, that kind of thing, and wedged them all together. Basically, it's sort of like, actually, probably a better thing to think of about is like the blocks in the very top of an igloo, because you have to adjust them just right so they support themselves.
Right.
It's that kind of an idea, except they're all like these weird geometric shapes.
Scary. Like, did you feel like you were gonna be like claustrophobic or like you were like buried alive or anything?
I never did. It didn't bother me at all because I mean, I'm sure if you sat there and started really thinking about how much rock is directly over my head, at any moment, you start kind of freak yourself out about it. I'm sure it happens, but of course, the whole idea for because that's NORAD, the North American Air Defense System, that it's got both Canadian and American forces in there. And the big thing that they did, because originally the idea was this is the main bunker for the military, for the end of world, the end of the world kind of a thing. They do have this enormous like vault door that it takes like a minute to close it because it's so huge and has hydraulics and everything on it. And basically that the whole mountain could get a direct hit from a nuclear weapon and those people in there would be fine. The platform that those three buildings are on, it's because they're not just sitting on the ground. They have like a giant platform. They're all independent of each other, but they're on this big platform that has these giant, like 3-foot tall springs, coiled springs, to absorb the concussion if a nuke were to hit the entire mountain. Because if they didn't, the whole building would just shatter from the shock wave going through. But it's got these giant springs so that the mountain can kind of bounce it out.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think that there's a tunnel that goes all the way to DC from there?
From there, the deep underground military, the domes. No, I don't know about all that. It was already a big feat of engineering just to dig straight in and then off to the side. And like I said, they had a lot of other things to deal with rather than just digging it out. If there was, I'm not aware of it. Actually, in the movie and the TV show Stargate SG-1, that's where they're supposed to be based out of, is in Cheyenne Mountain inside of NORAD headquarters. They do have, like, going down one of the hallways of one of those little 3 buildings, they do have this one door, the gray door, and it says Stargate Command, which is what they call it in the show. And because they're in on the joke, you open it up and it's like a broom closet. There's actually a really stinky mop sitting in a bucket there when I was there, but it's all part of the gag. They get it. But,
I bet
they have a dining facility in there.
I bet there is.
I don't know. That would be a whole other project, and I would think it.
Well, I think that I believe that there was advanced people here, and I think that we found a lot of infrastructure that they just don't tell us about that was underground. And I think that there's probably also pathways that are cleared, like by, I don't know, like giant tree. If we had giant trees back in the day, and they're like root systems or whatever, and then we've got like lava tubes. And here in Arizona, we've got lava tubes underground from. So you got like stuff that's already kind of there. That you can, I don't know. And there's lots of places that we can't see. I feel like this world is like big. It seems big to me anyway. It seems like there's all kinds of places that you can hide stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there
yeah.
are plenty of other bunkers, and are there tunnels going to them and going to Denver Airport and stuff like that? I don't know. I mean, I can see that would sound to me just strategically, tactically. I
Right.
would think, yeah, that's something you would kind of really want to have. But
I
that would
think
be a
that I
giant
think movie
engineering
stars
feat.
use underground travel too that we don't know about, because I think those guys get places real fast, man. I know jets and all, but like, are they really flying that much? Like, seriously, that's a lot of flying. That's a lot of
I
flying.
don't know. But as far
I
as
say
Cheyenne
Denver
Mountain
Airport.
goes, their big thing that they do now mostly is one of the bigger things is they track pretty much everything above the earth from 3,000 feet all the way out to like our geosynchronous satellites that we have up in orbit, which they're arranged in the orbit of the earth, so they're always over whatever they're they're sent for
Oh,
us
they're
always
insane.
over the United States and stuff like that.
Right.
That's about 23,000 miles out is where they have to be to orbit at. They track past that. And the tour that I got, the guy that was giving me the tour, he had a couple of props. I'll just use this. He was like, for like low Earth orbit, where like the space shuttle and the International Space Station is, and he holds up like a bolt that was a little smaller than this, but it was about like, just a couple inches long, 3 inches long. He's like, we can track everything from this size and larger around the whole planet in that low Earth orbit area. For 23,000 miles out, where all of the geosynchronous satellites are, he holds up a basketball. It's like, we can track everything from this size and bigger. And they do. They have all that stuff, all the space junk, everything like that. They catalog all of it and they track it. Because even today, like the International Space Station, they have to move it sometimes because there might be some piece of junk that they're in a similar orbit and they may collide. Anything that can come within a mile of it, they have to adjust the altitude basically of the International Space Station all the time.
How is like stuff's gonna hit each other someday, right? Because like you can't, I don't know, eventually you can't just put a bunch of stuff.
It has space junk from 60 years plus of us sending up stuff and things, satellites go dead, they get worn out, they die, no power to them, or from another collision. There's a lot of stuff up there that's just junk.
Right.
Some of it is, and of course, anything if it gets hit by something else, it splinters apart. Now, all of that stuff is all moving at like 23,000 miles per hour around the Earth. So even like a screw,
I know, that's scary.
It's going to turn you inside out.
I thought about that the other day. I was thinking about something falling from an airplane. I don't know why I was thinking about that. But I was like, that would be bad, I bet, if something fell from an airplane. Because, yeah.
Especially if it's frozen.
I had like a shadow fly over me the other day. Huh?
Doesn't the poop come out of the airplane like somewhere?
Well, it's there's been a few occasions because it's not supposed to. If it's got a leak, because you got that blue water on an aircraft that you see when you flush a toilet on the plane. There's a tank in there that's supposed to contain all that, and they suck it out and pump fresh stuff in. Once it lands. There have been occasions where those tanks have formed a leak and it leaks outside of the aircraft and it starts freezing on the outside of the aircraft until it gets so big that it falls off. So you've got
a giant piece of shit,
big blue crap filled icicle. That's there's been more than a couple of times throughout our last 30, 40 years where people are sitting quietly at home and this frozen blue chunk of something crashes through their roof and then it starts thawing out in their living room and stinking up the whole place.
Gross. What a terrible day that would be. I would be like, okay. I'd be like, okay, God, this isn't funny.
I would be like, I want money for that. I would be like trying to get money for that.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I got yawn.
Yeah, when I got the tour was 2002. Sure, their technology has increased,
Right.
from low Earth orbit, a bolt this big to a basketball. I'm sure it's better now, so it's hard to tell what
Right.
they can track wherever.
I don't know why they don't put more like things in mountains, because mountains seem like a good place to hide things. You could put a city, skyscrapers in there, or
Well, it's mostly because it's such a giant undertaking to dig all that stuff out, and it's hard to do it in secret too, because all that rock that you're digging out has to go somewhere. It's not
That
you're
is
not dumping
true.
it right outside.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
The secret base with a mile high pile of rubble outside of it's like, oh, okay, see what you're doing.
Right. Maybe that's what the Grand Canyon is. It's just a quarry. They quarried it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It looks pretty chiseled, whatever they did.
Yeah, right. I know.
It's a talented river.
It's hard because we were taught one thing, and now we're like kind of like, did it really though happen that way?
Because it doesn't look like what we were taught to me, but
Yeah.
There's like shapes taken out of the wall, like canyon wall, like all over the Grand Canyon. Super like square.
Right angles and stuff. Yeah. Well, that's actually kind of normal. Many. Yeah, that's actually kind of normal because like where I grew up in eastern Kentucky, and a lot of those areas to put highways in, they would just dig out like half of a mountain kind of thing because there's no flat areas for the highway to go through. So you can see all that exposed rock. And
but like at the Grand Canyon though, it's not just the exposed rock. It's like the way that like there's just these parts. Like there's a part that looks like the canyon wall is actually like on pillars. Like it's weird.
I get it. It does look strange, but it is a thing that does happen in nature. Like those exposed walls I was talking about.
Right.
A lot of water seeps in there, and it's many layers of different types of rock. It's not all one big thing rock.
Right.
The smaller layers between the bigger layers, they get sluiced out from rainwater, and then of course water when it expands and freezes it expands when it freezes, I should say. So if you've got water down inside of a little crack and it freezes, it's going to push those rocks apart. It's going to take a long time, but eventually it's going to cause the smaller part of that rock to break off and fall off. And there's a lot of there's a couple kind of like right angles and stuff like that on there. So
there's a couple parts in the Grand Canyon where I found like this, like there's like striations, right? Or there's like blocks, there's like layers. But there's this one section of block where it looks like there was like a circle, right? It's a half circle, but it looks like somebody took out the middle of the circle and the block fell. So now it was like the top part of the circle, and then it was smashed onto the bottom part of the circle, but like it's missing a part. So it definitely, I'm like, how did that happen naturally? Because it like looks like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just, I just, if I could see, I would like to do a painting or something of, like in my imagination, what the Grand Canyon looked like. Cause I feel like it was a city. It was like a city of, that was made out of the rock that was carved into the canyon, kind of like in Lord of the Rings or something.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What are the Hopi cliff dwellings you got up in different parts of the state there? I want to check those out. When I go through there.
Yeah, and it's so like the Havasupai Falls area, like part, it looks so magical to me, and the water is just, it's so crazy, especially right there. If you look on Google Earth, you can actually see like where the brown water turn like and the blue water mix together, and they're like, you can see like a line. It doesn't like intermingle. It's like brown and then blue, like that milky color. It's I don't know. It's neat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's, of course, there's tales of finding the big cave there in the Grand Canyon with Egyptian hieroglyphs in it, and it goes back really far, blah, 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 blah. I don't know that a natural cave would form like that, or even again, if somebody dug that all out, where did all that refuse go?
Right.
Plus, for people that are living in there, I would think they would have to have an easy way to get in and out of there, because you're not growing crops inside of there.
Right.
You're gonna
There is
need,
not an easy way in and out. Yeah.
Well, if
you
they
know,
were advanced, I don't know. I think that we had I think that people were advanced, like flying things, advanced.
I will agree that like pre Ice Age time frame, pre Younger Dryas, I do think there probably was an ancient civilization that we know nothing about because it all got wiped
Right.
out
Right.
and all that. I don't know that it would necessarily be the crystal powered flying pyramid level of technology. Maybe they're like a Roman Empire level of technology of building great architecture and buildings and waterways and things like that. I could believe that, but I would think that, like, if they had flying machines and things like that, I would think, well, those wouldn't have all been under the water. They would have had some outpost, like in the mountains someplace, that didn't get flooded for like mining or things like that, further away. I would have thought we would have found stuff like that by now.
I know. The other thing that confuses me too is I feel like the Grand Canyon isn't as old as they say it is, but that doesn't make sense either. I don't know. We just live in a very strange place, everybody. I'm just very confused.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
I'm open
like,
to believing anything now because you don't know. I don't know. I'm not an astronaut and I didn't go up and I didn't see.
Yeah, I don't know where we are. I don't
When-
know what things are. I don't know anything
when I-
either. I know marshmallows taste good.
That's always going to be true.
Right.
Like when
Always
I
true,
was a
yeah.
kid, I was told, that was in our little textbooks that all dinosaurs were cold-blooded lizards, and stuff like that. Nowadays, a lot of them are like, some of them were warm-blooded, and a lot of them had feathers. Now it's like, feathers? What?
Yeah.
That's
I think
the more we discover and the better our technology gets to do research like that, the more you find out about, especially the distant past like that. But
if they will
Right.
allow information to be like shared, because there are powers that be that try to hide things so that they can, for their own reasons.
Smithsonian coming in stealing those giant skeletons.
Yeah, the Smithsonian. Don't even get me started on the Smithsonian. Yeah. Giants are going to be back, y'all.
That is an actually really good point to wrap up for the year-end wrap-up, is that I learned that nothing is really as it seemed, and to keep an open mind, because what you think you know, you might not know. Right. Just to make sure to keep everybody should keep themselves in check that way.
Right.
That way they won't be so surprised when the shit hits the fan,
Yeah, don't be certain about anything, because like if you're certain about something, you're locking yourself into a trap there.
So the only thing to be certain about is uncertainty.
Right.
To be fair, that's how science is supposed to work. It's like,
right,
all of our available evidence, this is how this works. Until some other piece of evidence comes along that disproves that, then that's true, and that's kind of how it's always been. But
that's how it should be.
Right.
They need to allow it to happen that way instead of.
Unfortunately, especially with like ancient archaeology stuff, you get these professors that have been at whatever university for archaeology for their entire lives and have written several books about that they find something new that disproves it. That destroys their entire career.
Right.
Like, that everything, their entire life's work gone by somebody flipping over a rock and finding something.
Right.
So I can kind of get them
like,
going.
Why make your work about the thing you found instead of about the work, because if your job is for finding the truth, then you don't ever have to worry about that being turned over, or whatever. Because
some people are pretty vain about
their outcome. If you pin yourself to a certain outcome, then you're going to get disappointed, and that stuff could happen. So you have to release your attachment to outcome and be open to other things, especially if you're in science. because everything could change at any moment. Everything's energy, and energy is always in motion. So anything could change at any moment. So you have to detach from any kind of outcome.
Yeah, won't that be cool
they
when
only
we
have
don't die
themselves to
anymore? And there won't, like, people that work at funeral homes will have to find another job.
Well, yeah. Well, I think our
Maybe.
bodies will always die, but we have everlasting life, like our soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Our bodies will die. Yes.
Yeah.
There's always an accident that could occur. So somebody would have to have that training.
Right. Yep. That is true. Just because we're immortal doesn't mean you don't die. I mean, if you fall off a cliff, it's kind of hard to live through
Right.
that.
It's going to happen.
Gonna
Like, yeah.
Do that deep cave exploration and it falls in on your head. Sorry, you're not coming
Or
back
get
from that.
stuck in
Right.
there. Oh, God. Yeah. There's all kinds of shit that could happen.
Yikes.
Well, you know what? I want you guys to stay in after I turn it off, but I'm going to go ahead and end the live. And like I said, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe buttons and the bell so you can hear when we put something out. And thank you for joining us, and share with your friends, please. And join us for this next year coming, because we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
So thank you,
2024.
everybody, for having a great thanks for having a great year with us and all the support that we've received. So,
And catch us maybe
please
for an
continue.
impromptu on New Year's Eve also. From live from
Definitely,
Susan's
yes,
house.
we're having a party.
I'm gonna wear
Oh, you're gonna
something
be Susan.
special.
So yeah. So stay in here, okay, you guys, just for a minute longer. And thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.